Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Sumerians, Their History, Culture, and Character by Samuel Noah Kramer. So this book was very interesting, and I have to say a lot more readable than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be incredibly academic like the ancient Iraq book that I just finished reading, but this was very readable, very accessible despite being maybe a little bit more academic seeming at first. I really wound up enjoying this book. So this book covers, as it says on the cover, the Sumerians, which is, if you're not familiar, a very ancient civilization in the Middle East. And I think this book broke the contents within the Sumerian civilization up very well. So instead of just moving through the whole time period the Sumerians were active or living, or I guess having their civilization, and covering everything so in that chronological order. So the politics, the religion, the literary tradition, the music, the cultural norms, the traditions, in a strictly chronological order. The author broke it up into different topics, and I can read the topics right here. Well, if I find them. One moment. So the first one is archaeology and decipherment, which is just like how this stuff came to light. Then we have history, society, religion, literature, education, character, and the legacy of Sumer. So I think the way the book was organized was very well and lent itself to its readability and to the engagement with the reader. So I really enjoyed this book, and I thought it was really well laid out, and I think you will too. Now, the only problem or the downside I see with this book is just its age. So this book, at least the inside flap of this book, says that it was written in 1963, copyright 1963. So this book is, in a lot of respects, I would have to imagine, out of date, just in terms of more archaeology coming to light or different thought on the way that we interpret what we have found lends itself to more up-to-date information. So when you read a book like this, I think you have to really keep in mind that this is a book about the Sumerians as was known or as was thought in the 1960s. So I don't think that discredits the book or the work the author put into the book, because he only had, in 1963, the author only knew what they knew in 1963. He's only working with the information that he has, as well as the mindset and the thought patterns of Sumerian archaeology and Sumerian history at that time. So whenever you read a book, you kind of, it's hard to break out of like what's going on at that time, because that's when you're writing the book, and naturally books are going to age. So this is a little bit older of a book, so I would recommend, if you're going to read this book, also read it in tandem or follow this up with some more modern reading, some books that were maybe written in the last 10 or 20 years, just to make sure you're having the most up-to-date information. And keep that in mind when reading this, that when they say, well, we don't know this, or we're not sure about this, or even things that maybe he claims authoritatively, just keep an open mind and realize that was as it was in the 1960s. But I do think that the age doesn't preclude it from being a very good book. This was very enjoyable, and I think it's a really good introduction, and it covers quite a bit of content in a very logical way without being very academic or dull or dry. So if you're interested in the ancient Sumerians, I can really recommend this book. Again, The Sumerians by Samuel Noah Kramer. I really enjoyed this book. I would just recommend pairing it or following it up with something a little more modern to kind of offset the age problem. It's not really a problem, but just the aging that happens with the book, to make sure you're getting the most up-to-date or current information. Kind of read this as the state of things in 1963 and go from there. I'm sure there's plenty here that will pique your interest and lead to a lot of additional fun reading for you. If you've read this book, please let me know what you think. Other than that, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching.